Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Bismillah rahman rahim. We in here, the BOC, live and in person, baby. We here. We here on YouTube. We here on Facebook, and Instagram doesn't have a streaming platform yet. You got to use the phone on Instagram. I've been trying, but yeah, we got you here. You tuned in with the good brother from Cincinnati, Ohio, Abdul Kabir Muhammad with the Black Owned and Controlled Movement. We don't have the brother Salim with us today. He had to be with the family, so he had to sit this one out. But he'll be back, inshallah. So I don't have the custom celebratory gunshots in the opening, nor the hand clap. And we got from the ATL Shouty, brother, brother Imam Bilal Stroud.
ATL is in the house, shutting it down.
You heard me.
You know how we do, baby. Shout out to Philly, Ohio, Detroit, baby, D-Town, New York, Cali. You know how we do, baby. Bach is in the house. Big
You hear? Bach. So I'm gonna do yeah. We got the brother represent. I got a special representative from Chocolate City. They said that DC was Chocolate City, but that was a branch of Chocolate City. I just found out that Atlanta is the original Chocolate City. So, and my sources are alive, upright, and correct and exact, baby. Like you representing this. Atlanta is really our motherland. That's in the United States. The first place that Black people resettled was Atlanta. Second place that Black people resettled was South Carolina. Why you think those two epochs of Black people kind of are, I'm not gonna say doing well, because us as a Black people, we aren't doing well as a whole. But with those two epochs of Black people are doing better than all the other epochs of Black people, alhamdulillah. They are vehemently more independent. That's what I love about the ATL and South Carolina. When I was gonna make my shake, it was gonna be between the two. But when I in part of my research, I seen that South Carolina's sold what is that something island? What is that island called in South Carolina? That nice, beautiful island.
You probably talking about Myrtle Beach or
No, that's North Carolina, right?
no, Myrtle Beach is in South Carolina.
Is it? No, it ain't the beach. It was an island. It was some kind of Hilton Head. Hilton Head.
Head, yes.
That belonged to us. That was
Yeah.
I lost your light. Where your
Oh,
light go?
let me move. Let me move right quick.
Okay.
The place I'm at. I guess they
They
tried
got the alert. There you go. I can see you now. They got the
to
alert. They said, "Oh no, the
shut
Black owner control is." They cut our resources. They cut the lights.
brother. The enemy tried to shut us down, brother. We ain't gonna let it do it.
We didn't get started yet.
We ain't gonna let him do it, brother. We just keep it moving. Ain't no big deal. You see how I move? I say, you know what? I'm gonna move somewhere else. But we good, alhamdulillah.
What is this?
Yeah,
I'm looking at an alert that Facebook just censored me. No one else. What? I don't even know
they
what they
what?
talking about. They censored me about something I put up. I don't know. I've been talking about censoring all day. But yeah. Anyway, without further ado, we're gonna jump straight in.
Yes, sir.
Let me get my folks out here.
Yes, sir.
So uh so we are going to the discussion, and the topic today is Black people are a nation without a nation and a nation within a nation.
Mm,
At best, if
mm,
we can get ourselves together, then we are a nation within a nation.
mm,
But other than that, we are a nation without a nation
mm-hmm.
at best. So,
Okay.
inshallah, I'm gonna weigh in on these things. I'm sending out some invites, so give me a second, Habibi.
Okay.
Uh, yeah,
And while you doing that,
yeah. Go ahead.
ask the audience a question. Let me ask the audience a question.
Let me put the
Uh,
comments up.
Abdul Kabir, let's say let's say I come to Ohio, where you are in Ohio, and I kidnap you.
Mm-hmm.
And I bring you all the way down here to Atlanta and put you in my house.
Mm-hmm.
And I make you cut my grass, cook my food your entire life. I even go as far as change your name to Michael Johnson. No longer Abdul Kabir Muhammad, you Michael Johnson now. And you work for me and I don't pay you a dime. And I tell you, you better not leave my house or I kill you. And I'll let you I'll let you marry some woman that you find and your wife becomes my property now. Your children become my property, right? So you belong to me. I kidnapped you. I own you. I feed you. I clothe you. You are not free to move about anywhere. And then one day I tell you, you know what, Michael, or used to be Abdul Kabir, you, you know, you can leave now. Just leave. Just leave. And if you don't leave, if you want to stay, you can stay, no problem, but you follow my rules. So one day you come and tell me, hey, Bilal, I don't like the colors in here. I want the walls to be blue instead of white. Do you have a say so about the colors of my house?
It ain't mine, so no.
Right? It's not yours, right? So you can suggest what the color is, but you don't have any power here because I own this house. I brought you to my house. I set the rules, the policies, and everything. You can suggest, but you don't have any real power because you don't own the house. So you got two choices. Either you can stay in my house and do my bidding, or you can say, you know what? I'm better off by myself. Let me leave and go down the street and build my own house. Which scenario gives you more honor and more dignity as a man?
build my own house. Straight up.
It's better to build your own house, isn't it?
Absolutely, positively.
I mean, you can sit there and march, you can protest, you can beg me to change the colors of the wall, you can ask me every single day, you can cook my food and iron my clothes in hopes that maybe one day my heart will soften towards you so that maybe I will listen to you and change the wall to white because it's blue. I could listen to you and change the wall to white, but just because I painted the wall white doesn't mean that you have any power. I listened to you and I accepted your request, but that don't mean you have no power here.
Drop it on me, mom. I'm
You
doing
don't have
that.
any power. So either you can sit here, iron my clothes, feed me in hopes of maybe one day I will accept you as an equal. Or you can get up and go down the street and build your own house and make your own call. Which one makes more sense?
Definitely to have your own house where you could do as you please, which that's a great analogy to kick it off. That's a phenomenal analogy to kick it off. I love how you can take things of a complex nature and a complex matter and break it down into little edible pieces for us, man. That's what that life experience, that knowledge. You've been at this for a long while. How long you been at this?
I became a Muslim when I just turned 18.
SubhanAllah, are you serious?
I'm almost 50 now.
La 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 la. Man, so that so when you talk, that's coming with some heat. And I always tell you, you ain't one of them old schools. Sorry, you ain't one of those experienced brothers.
I'm knocking on 50 right now. I'm knocking on 50's door.
You ain't one of them brothers that's scared, man. You ain't one of them brothers that's been around. to see these things happen. I'm reading books and researching and collecting stories from the elders. You are one of the elders, so I want our viewers to know. These are very significant words. This ain't just some old quacked out ideas that we have, and we trying to just get some views for these quacked out ideas, like a lot of these other shows are. You are elder, alhamdulillah, and you've been in service to Allah. You chose to become a Muslim when you was in the rage of being young. Ain't no way, wireless. I couldn't even pronounce being Muslim when I was 18, man. What? No. You've been in service to Allah. You chose to give yourself to Allah at 18. And now, inshallah ta'ala, you're getting ready to be 50 years old, inshallah ta'ala. So that's coming with some real live heat. But listen, I got some teachers, I have leaders and everything. First time I heard, I didn't even listen to the whole speech. It was the one you did back in the summertime that said, "We want a divorce." You was kind of fed up. Salim, I think Salim just shared it. Yeah, no, y'all did a podcast together, and it popped up on my news feed, and I looked at it, I was like, "Who is this brother?" And I'm talking about, man, you was just lighting it up. You was lighting it up. And you said, I jumped straight in your inbox. Friend request, straight in the inbox. Hey, Salam Alaikum. Hey, we got to get it popping. You talking like how I like to hear. Alhamdulillah. Well, let's jump in, man. Well, go ahead.
I just feel that, to be totally honest with you, for you to remain in my house, continue to ask me day after day to change the colors in the house, for you to sit there and feed me and iron my clothes and take out all the garbage in hopes that maybe one day I will actually change and allow you to own the house, or that maybe one day I'll change and see you differently, is actually very foolish, especially when you get up and go down the street and build your own house. For you to sit here and get upset when I don't change the color of the wall, when you have the ability to build your own house, is really, you make yourself look foolish, and people around the world laugh at you. They laugh at you. They see you as weak. They see you as like a crybaby, because every time they look around, you are asking them, please change the colors of the wall. And no one really respects you because you keep begging me to change the color of the wall. When you're not, you're free to go anywhere you wish now. I mean, you're not a slave anymore physically. So you can move, but you don't want to move. You thinking that by staying here, you have a better chance to really progress as a person staying in my house. But for you to keep begging me, it makes you look weak. It makes you look foolish, to be honest with you. And what we saw yesterday, the other day in DC, with the terrorist attack, is a prime example of what I'm talking about. That was a golden example of what white privilege is.
100%.
Marching and protesting, asking for justice, asking him to change the colors of the walls in this house. And we've been begging and begging and begging. And now you saw how they could just literally walk in the front door, vandalize the whole place, the Capitol building. They was in there smoking weed. Did you know that?
Yeah, and drinking.
Weed.
And drinking. They put the picture up with all the cotties, and they had beer cans all over. It was, I forget which one of those rooms it was.
Stealing mail, breaking in people's offices. And then I saw videos of one police officer taking the hand of one terrorist and helping her down the stairs. I saw one that he removed the barricades and let them come in. I mean, it's obvious that either he's incapable or unwilling to be just with us. So for us to continue to expect fair treatment or equal justice in his house is an exercise in futility, and we actually look weak and no one respects us. So the best thing for us to do at this particular time is to see ourselves as a nation within a nation. We are a group of people that are connected by our history. We have a common history, common culture, common experience, and we are a nation of people that's here. Like, for example, like you said, I brought you to my house. You are a guest in my house. If I want to put you out, I could put you out right now. You are a guest here. I allow you to stay here. So since you are my guest, since I pay all the bills and I run this, you don't have any real power here. So you have to do my bidding. So, like you said, I think it's the best thing for you to do is go out and get your own. So as a people, if we could just realize that we are a unique people. Now, before I go further, when I say people, then you can chime in. When I say people, I mean the people who identify as either descendants of enslaved Africans that were forcibly brought to the United States, or we also have Aboriginal foundation with our people as well. So we have two different foundations that make us who we are. We are unique people, what you call, I quote, African Americans. That's what we're talking about. We're not, if you're Haitian, we're not talking about you. If you're Jamaican, we're not talking about you. If you're from Senegal, we're not talking about you. We're talking about a people who identify as this strange, unique people who you call African Americans. This is what you call foundational Black Americans or New Africans or what you call
Native Black Americans.
Colored. No matter what name you call yourselves, ADOS, whatever you call yourselves, you know who I'm talking about. We are unique people begging and hoping that this Caucasian would do better by us. And he showed the other day that you're not even on his radar. So for 100%. You to sit here and hope that maybe one day he'll change, he'll listen to our pleas to change the colors of the wall, you look foolish.
Alhamdulillah.
Your take.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said, man. That's a great analogy. How you broke that down. That's the state of Black people right now. So, like you said, to cap it off, America is the house of white people. Mm-hmm. It always has been. That was just the way that this country was built. At best, we can call ourselves guests, like the black blue bourgeoisie, the upper class Democrats, they're guests. Us down here at the bottom, we are still illegal aliens. So, and that's crazy because the type of treatment that that our Hispanic brothers and sisters are worried about, we have been enduring since the inception of this country. So when you see that immigration issue pop up on these candidates, the fact that they put a Hispanic face on it because they want to come here and work is appalling to me. The discriminatory practices that everybody is afraid that will happen to illegal immigrants has been happening to us to the zenith from the beginning, and they still do not include us. They don't sneak us in anywhere where it could be done. Just like the recent so-called victory for us down there in the A. Y'all got the brother what's the name? Raphael. Brother Raphael. Black brother with a Spanish name. So we got brother Raphael. Italian, yeah. We think that, he's going to deliver us. And I've shown people 1,000 times he has no agenda on here for us. No, as a matter of fact, let me, just as a quick point, let me show y'all. He has no agenda for us. Okay. All right. So these are his priorities. This is Brother Raphael's in the Senate, Raphael Warnock's.
Okay.
This is his website.
Okay.
So as y'all can see, I'm on it now.
Okay.
There is no agenda for us. So we think that he's going to be the one that's going to tip the scale. Him and the Democrats are going to be the ones to tip the scale. So he's representing GA in the Senate. He gave us the majority, gave the Democrats / us the majority. Here's his website. His issues are agriculture, climate change, criminal justice, education, healthcare, infrastructure, jobs and the economy, LGBTQ, EFGB, reproductive rights, national security and defense, voting rights, veterans and military families, and last and not least, immigration. Nothing else on there. I don't see nothing on there for black folks.
Let's take a stab at it. Let's take a stab at it. Go down to healthcare. Click on healthcare. It stands on healthcare. I'm just curious.
All right, got it open.
Okay. The right to access affordable quality care. Read the first paragraph you see. Read the first paragraph there, please.
Reverend Warnock's belief in affordable health care comes from his understanding of the dignity of human beings and his confidence that courageous, principled leaders can stand up to special interests and make our healthcare system work better for all, not black people, for all. That's why he's rejecting corporate PAC money, because he knows that for too long the insurance and pharmaceutical companies have had their way in Washington. So we can pretty much assume that the rest of this dissertation is going to be based on that introduction, correct?
Well, I can tell you like this. Based upon what we have gone through in America, based upon the amount of wealth that we generated in America, we deserve the right to free health care. Period. Those of us who are descendants of enslaved Africans or Aboriginal people, we deserve the right to free medical care. We should not have to go into debt when we need to go to the hospital. We're not even talking about medical racism. Going to the hospital and you go in for. Did you see that video of Dr. Susan Moore, the black woman who's a physician? Did you see that?
The one that died from COVID?
Yes.
And remember, we put it on the show.
Yeah, okay.
You wasn't there, were you?
Right. I'm
sorry. Yeah. We put it on the show like before she died. We put it on the show. Her last words, her dying words. We put it on the show.
So here you are, a black woman who's a physician, who many people see physicians as the creme de la creme of profession. Here you are, a medical doctor inside the hospital, and you are not receiving the best care possible. You know what's wrong with you. You know the protocols when coming to the hospital, and they refuse to give you medication. They refuse to hear your pleas for pain. So, and you die shortly after leaving the hospital. She knew she should not be leaving, but they sent her home. So here you are, a medical doctor, a black woman. I don't care how many degrees you have, how much money you have. You will always be seen in their house as 3/5 of a human being. And they will never, ever come to respect you or consider you equal in their house. This is their house. So they will never see you as their equal. Never. So
that's regardless of the fact that we built it, because I hear a lot of other black movements making the claim like, hey, we built this thing, so we need parts of it because we built it, and so to speak. But the problem with that is they took it. What we built, they took it, so it's not ours. Like they say, what you can't defend, you can't have.
Mm.
So
Well,
that's a weak argument in the grand scheme of things. Yes, we did build this country. Yes, we did. We built the foundation of this country. Yes, we did can make major earth moving contributions to the quote unquote greatness of this country, but we have not been given our patents on any of it.
mhm.
Zero. So all of the power, statistically, all of the power is in their hands. Period. And we've been for centuries. We have been slaving. We have been enslaved and slaving ourselves at producing quote unquote greatness for this country. When this it's the same adage as like me with having a small business. Alhamdulillah. Uh, I can go and do all this work for somebody like if I work for a good brother like yourself, inshallah ta'ala, when you get your ride service up and popping, and we're gonna get it up and popping, inshallah ta'ala, and you own it and you got cars, and you got clients, I would take great pride in working for an individual like you,
Alhamdulillah.
not for the individuals who are currently at stake. You have morals, you have principles, you have guidelines. You're dedicated as an individual to the greatness of your community and your people. So you're gonna make sure I got a nice wage. You're gonna make sure that I got nice coverage. You're gonna make sure that I have a good flexible schedule. It's going to be built and tailored around what you know to be life,
Mm.
not what some other peoples who we don't belong to see fit, which is the problem. We have a people who are a nation that have established themselves as a nation, controlling a people who they have not let into what they call as a nation. They have not let us into this. And just a few points that I just wanted to make as proof. This is proof that we have not been accepted. I'm not going to say we're not Americans because we are, but we have not, in the grand scheme of things, we have not been accepted into mainstream America. And these are the things that created this reality and offset that possibility, the possibility of such. So,
Show,
first and
show,
foremost,
show us those examples.
okay, I don't have them pulled up on my computer. I got them.
Okay.
I got them up, but it's all my tabs is open, so I just put them on my paper, and I'm just gonna go to. It's three of them.
Okay.
Inshallah, I'll get that. You see, every week we getting a little better with my antics, with my tech antics. Alhamdulillah. But I do have the GI Bill one open.
Okay.
Uh, what is this? Yeah, I got some stuff about the GI Bill, but it's the whole long. I took the meat off the bone out of those things because I like to try to make these things easy for people because a lot of these concepts are not reality. Like we all can grasp these concepts if we had the opportunity to sit down and break it down, and we had the fire lit up under us to sit down and break it down, and so to speak. So if an individual has time to pay us any kind of attention, I try to take all that research and all these books and stuff we reading, and just put it into some little concise points that can just jump out on their face and smack them and say, "Wake up!"
Well,
But what'd you say?
the way I see our people here in this country is the entire history that we've been here in the exploitative role since we
Fashion.
exploitative role. For
Yep.
example, I like football. I like
I love
football.
it.
I
I
like
love
to
it.
watch the game of football, the quarterback and everything like that. And I remember one day, because I work with a very popular ride share service, and I do other things. So I had a client. I went to the airport, picked up a client, and I took her to the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. We had a police escort and everything. This woman was the owner of a major, we won't say the franchise, but she was the owner of an NFL franchise.
And
So,
they're in the playoffs.
huh?
And they are in the playoffs.
Okay, all right, they're in the playoffs. So when she comes to the stadium, she goes to the box and she can look down and see her team. So she sees she's there with her entourage. They drinking Coca-Cola, eating food, and watching the game.
White lady,
So,
right?
huh?
White lady, right?
Yes. And she didn't say a whole lot, but it is what it is. But that's her team. That team on the field. That every time they make a play, they're generating revenue for her.
Generational revenue.
Generational revenue. So those players, they can't come up to the box and her. You stay on the field. You stay on the field. Now I know these players are making millions of dollars, but she's making billions of dollars. Billion with a B.
Wealth
Billions
gap.
of dollars.
Wealth gap.
Big wealth gap. So so she uses her players to build wealth for her. And so those players can't come and sit in her box. They can't roll up in her personal office without making an appointment if they allow them anyway. She sees you as a means to build up her wealth, her business, her status. And you are
And
on the
that's
field.
the that's the
That's all you
structure.
are to her.
That's the relationship between the affluent white power structure and black people as we exist in this country.
And
And
everybody,
and they do another game because the brother Imam Nadir,
yes.
his brother plays for the Tennessee Titans.
Oh.
He was on the field today. He good. The boy's good. They get free tickets and the whole nine. I mean, he's good. He's not a practice squad. He plays. He's second string because it's his second year. He plays.
Gotcha.
He's directly behind us. I ain't gonna say what I ain't gonna expose brother, but he's second string. So when the brother needs a breath, he comes in. As a matter of fact, he's a little smaller and quicker, but he plays bigger than what he actually is.
Gotcha.
So he's able to play. So he's one of those strong safety / linebackers. Back in the day we used to call it the Mike. When they brought the spread offense out, they took the Mike out the game because he couldn't chase nobody. But we slowly getting back to it. But he plays the Mike position, so he actually gets more third down reps than the starting other guy in other position. So he this ain't it's a big hat. You know what I mean? So I brought that up to say. I looked at the structure. I took him out to dinner one time, and I just wanted to pick his brain because I'm a football fanatic. Everybody know that. And I'm like, so how is it? Boom, boom, boom. So I said, I ain't gonna play with you. I gotta ask you about that money. He laughed, right?
What did he say?
They don't pay them all at once. When you see that whole $20 million contract and all that, so many stipulations. You get a certain amount. You get a salary each month. It's a decent salary. It's much better than what we are doing,
right.
but you have to afford a certain type of lifestyle when you have that type of profession. When you have that type of occupation, you gotta afford a certain kind of lifestyle. You can't live like how we live. So he has he has all different types of things he has. He can't really even own a car because they're on the move so much. So everything is like paid, like, it's like everything's like fast food. And I'm like, with all this money, when you gonna buy moms, I see his mother on a regular. I see his mother more than he does. Because, he out working and doing his thing or whatever. Alhamdulillah. He ain't bought her a house yet. He ain't built her a house yet. That's because it's not stable. The money's not there yet. So they promised him that contract, but they giving him small stipends of that contract each month and over the entire year. So he might make, $900,000 in a year, but that's broken up between that 12 months, which gives you a little bit less to work with, and it makes you very, 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 very vulnerable to the credit predators out there because they see what you're quote unquote worth. Allah forbid, yeah, what you on paper, and they load you up. And he told me that he got the same agent as Baltimore's quarterback, LaShawn Jackson.
Yeah.
They got the same agent. He got the same agent as the brother down in the Texans. Hit that quarterback, the wide receiver, Deshaun Jackson. He got the same agent as big players, and he told me, was like, yeah, like they all over you as far as like trying to get you to invest in certain things and all this stuff. Like they draining them. Like they give you this check, and then they put all these people around you, supposed to be these certain experts or whatever, and they trying to get something out of you everywhere, everywhere they can, they trying to get something out of you. So that, only those certain players get those big $30 and $40 million contracts, and they getting, hundreds of thousands of dollars a month, and they have been inducted. They've been given a certain badge. So. But the points that I wanted to make as far as the evidence behind us being a nation, our own nation within a nation, and we don't realize it yet, is number one, slavery.
Mm-hmm.
So this nation, as you have it, as it is established, the United States of America, they instituted slavery on us. So that right there, what country does that to their actual citizens? No country. And as a matter of fact, the entire 240 years that slavery existed, they disbarred us from being actual citizens. This is how they quote unquote justified that. And then there was another 100 years for the fight for citizenship. So that was the first thing, and we don't have to go into chattel slavery. Everybody know what that's about. The second thing that they did after chattel slavery was done, not done, when they finished chattel slavery and they moved us to the next phase of slavery, was the government-sponsored terrorism. Jim Crow, KKK, and all of the other unique situations when you gave in one of the video shows that we did, you gave the examples on how just on the grassroots level, mobs of white people just getting together. They were not on the government's payroll. They were not on the police payroll. This is just what they came up with in their own hearts and just went house to house, black house to black house, and mobbed and lynched. That went on for 100 years while we're trying to build, while we're trying to establish our own thing. And we like, hey, y'all got a good one off on us. That's cool. Just leave us alone. We're going to go over here and do our thing. And the government sponsored Jim Crow. It sponsored the KKK, which was actually the great idea of our beloved Democrats. And it was passive with the white mobs that was on the ground that were lynching and hanging us. We know what that's about. What government, what country does that to its citizens? Third thing and the last thing, the government sponsored racist policies. And the government is still sponsoring racist policies. The evidence, as we know, the Homestead Act, when black people were freed, so-called freed, we were supposed to have been given 40 acres and a mule. They did a backdoor deal and turned around and gave out 1 million acres to only white people. And then on top of that, Andrew Jackson, when Abraham Lincoln got knocked off, when Andrew Jackson got in there, he reversed everything that Abraham Lincoln did. So all of the land that was seized by the Union soldiers in the Civil War, they knocked off Abraham Lincoln, and Andrew Jackson came in and gave it all right back to the slave owners. So they never tell us these kinds of things. All they do is say, oh, you have to work harder, you have to study harder, and you have the same opportunities as every American out here. No, come on now. Now, mind you, we into like almost 400 years, and then after that, what they do in the early and mid 1900s, what they do, the GI Bill in World War II and redlining. So first they did the GI Bill. You know, that's the one that hit home because you know your family served. Your family. This. Come on now. You're a descendant of people who laid their blood down for this so-called nation, and we were supposed to be. This is the biggest evidence that we have not been accepted into the mainstream of America as Americans. So when you did this is the most patriotic thing that you can do is go and quote unquote serve your country. Over 1 million black people from all over the country signed up voluntarily to go and serve their country, just with the thought that, hey, my family lives here. Let me go and protect and defend democracy for them, and hopefully they'll give us some of it. Like you said at the beginning of the show, these are courageous brothers. They were not actually going to fight for democracy for themselves. They were going to fight to prop up the oppressor as a favor for a favor. You scratch my back, I scratch yours. And when we got back, we were met with spit in the face. In some instances, in the far north, in Chicago, I was just reading today, when the brothers got back, the white soldiers, they had they were hooray, and they had parades and the whole nine. Guess what they did to the black brothers at that instant? Guess what they did to them? Lynched them. Lynched them. Lynched them.
Brother, look, just stop right there, Abdul Kabir. You. It's clear that you cannot trust the white man. Now, let me just say this. Now, please, look.
Yeah. Get yourself together, man. We mixing some chemicals right here, man.
I said this in a previous show, and I gotta say it again because I know we might have some new follows, some new viewers, and things like that. And I don't want nobody to misinterpret what I'm saying. But I need you to listen to what I'm saying right now. I gotta say this before I go to something else. We know the existence of Satan. We know that. We know who Satan is. He's known by different names: Lucifer, Iblis, the Beelzebub. You name it. He's known by different names. There is a darkness, an evil, wicked being. He's known by different names. We know he exists. As Muslims, Allah tells us in the Quran that he exists. His name is Iblis. May Allah curse him forever. And Iblis has an army of helpers. He has a group of beings that help him do wickedness and evil on the earth among spirits or jinn and humankind. Okay, he has that. He has an army. Okay, and in the army of Satan, you have different types of people. You have Arabs in that army. You have black people in that army. You have Asian, white people, all kinds of people in Satan's army. So either you are in Hezbollah or Hizbul Shaitan. You in the group belonging to the Most High God or in the group that belongs to Satan. Now, in the army of Satan, you have people who willfully do wickedness and evil, and there are some people who are doing the work of Satan out of their ignorance because they don't know.
That's deep.
So there are some people who are in the army of Satan there only because of their ignorance and ignorance of divine law that they're there. But once you give them information or give them dawah or you call them to goodness, they come out of Satan's army into Hezbollah, the army of God. We know that right now. So everybody has the ability to do good or evil. Everybody, no doubt about it. And in any army, you have privates, sergeants, lieutenants, captains, generals. You all have that in there. Now, we have to say, based upon our experience in America, we can't talk about anybody else. We don't live all over the world. We talk about our experience in America. The general in Satan's army in America, based upon our experience, history, what we have seen, what we know from firsthand knowledge of being here for over 400 plus years in an oppressive, degraded position, we can confidently say without any hesitation that the white man is the chief general in Satan's army in this country. We can say that. This is not we don't hate people, white people. We're not saying they're inherently evil. No, throughout periods of time, Satan uses different individuals. For example, during the time of Prophet Moses, may Allah's peace and blessings be upon him. Pharaoh at that time, he was not a Caucasian man. He was a black man, but Allah cursed him in the Quran for his evil and wickedness. During the time of Abraham, may Allah's peace be upon him, Nimrod was not a Caucasian man. He was a man of color, but he was wicked and evil. Allah speaks about him. So that's during their time. So it doesn't matter. Satan uses whoever he wills, no matter the race, color, whatever. You in Satan's army, you in Satan's army. So during the time of Prophet Moses, Pharaoh was a general in Satan's army during that time. And he wasn't a Caucasian, he was a black man. Don't get me wrong. So in today's time, right now, based on our experience, this Caucasian is the general in America of Satan's army. So
the elite forces.
He's there. Now, the other people that are in Satan's army follow his orders. Think about it. Black people, Asians, and everything. Since the white man is the general in Satan's army, he gives the orders to the rest of the troops. He controls the economic system. He controls the entertainment industry. He controls the sports industry. He sets the policies and rules. So therefore, since he sets the policies and rules, we follow his lead in our ignorance. And so follow him, we are in Satan's army too. So we have become little devils because we follow his lead. Instead of us following divine law, divine guidance, doing what Allah says to do, you follow him in his way. The LGBT, whatever it is, bestiality, drinking alcohol, bisexuality, all this stuff is inconsistent with divine law. So you have taken his culture and his behavior as a God besides God. So since you follow him, you yourself have become a little devil. Do you understand? So when we say we're not just talking about white people, we're talking about anybody in that army who goes against divine law. And it just so happens that the white man, because of his position, because of his power, he's in positions of authority. He is a general, just like Pharaoh. Pharaoh was in that position of authority and power. He was a general in Satan's army during that time. So since we know that, we cannot trust him. We cannot expect justice and fair treatment from him. So the best thing for us to do at this time is realize that we cannot be in this house. We have to leave this house and build our own, which leads me to the next discussion. This is why I'm calling for all of our people to migrate by the year 2050. So let's build our own house and leave him. Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, Tennessee, Virginia. Let this area be a new Africa. Let this area be our nation that we build. We must move to this area to consolidate our political and economic power into one region so we can do for ourselves. Now, I don't, and let me say this, I'm gonna let you respond. I don't believe that I don't believe that our people can actually have a nation through military means. We don't have the power. We don't have the means to to we don't have the tanks and jets necessary. I don't believe that. We don't have a fighting chance. But I do believe that we are a unique, separate, and a special people brought here to America for a divine purpose. And I believe that America is under judgment for the evil that they have done and they have allowed and sanctioned. And I believe the Caucasian in specific is also under judgment. And so for us to remain in his house, knowing that the house is falling, is foolish. So what we need to do as a people is come back to the ways of Almighty God.
Amen.
Follow
Amen.
Islamic monotheism. Repent from our evil. Come out of the army of Satan and come into the army of God. And let's migrate to a common region and let's focus on ourselves and do for ourselves. If we do that, because the rest of America is falling, you see what's going on. Then the DC storming the Capitol building. America is imploding. The coronavirus, the fall of the US dollar. America is down because of her evil and wickedness. We can come out of her, but we have to migrate to a certain area and do for ourselves. If we do that, Allah will protect us just as He protected the children of Israel in Egypt when they were under plagues. Allah protected them. We can do the exact same thing.
Amen.
I believe Allah will bless us.
Amen. Amen. Hey, you just you just threw some gas on that fire. Alhamdulillah. 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 Hasbuk yani.
What do you think?
Hasbuk. That hit hard. That hit the heart, man. They hit the heart. That's that from every angle. Um I can't put nothing on that. It is what you just said. That is when you look at the nature of this problem that nobody has figured out. We've had almost 2 centuries of black and white people trying to figure out this ugly, nasty, disgusting thing that is going on in the other America that never makes it to the living room. It never makes it on CBS. It never makes it on ABC. And it never makes it on NBC. This is the beautiful thing about social media that Allah blessed us with, about technology that Allah blessed us with. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect the haqq and not allow the demonic forces to shut us down. Because it's a problem that we still don't even have. We're still renting space in the tech world. Luckily, Mr. Zuckerberg, President Zuckerberg, likes us a little bit. He kind of rock with black people a little bit. I mean, hell, we made him rich. So we make him rich on a daily basis. So, and may Allah Ta'ala protect the truth and protect the facts and not allow it to be suppressed in any way, shape, form, or fashion. But that's a good point. Just to close out what I was saying, that GI Bill, when we got back from serving this nation, the nation didn't serve us. They did a trick, and this is the danger of trusting our historical oppressors.
Exactly.
I'm gonna clean it up a little bit. I'm gonna get away from the word white supremacy. And when you say it is white supremacy, because it's this racist power structure is run by white people. Just like you said, the power structure in the world, in the universe, is the United States of America. Now they had to make a choice. Like you said, you're gonna serve Allah or you're gonna serve Shaitan. It don't matter, we all had our turn. The Egyptians had their turn. They chose to choose Satan. The Persians, our brown brothers and sisters, and everybody from your local Mexican grocer to your Iranian Hezbollah terrorists. Everybody on in between is brown. The Persian people are the leaders of the brown people historically.
Mm-hmm.
They had it. Allah gave, and then Allah Ta'ala tell us in the Quran that He chooses who He wants to be the leader in earth. Allah chooses the Khalifa of the universe. So it's a test for us. It's a test for him and them. And when the white man came about, Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala said, "I am gonna give y'all a shot." Black people, we gave y'all a get at it with the whole Egyptian thing, and I got into that a little bit. We started to worship the creation as opposed to the creator. Y'all can respond to the last video. Don't respond on this one because we're not gonna go there. We talk about this. Then the Persians had it after that, and Allah Ta'ala gave them the option. What Allah Ta'ala say? فَأَلْهَمَهَا فُجُورَهَا وَتَقْوَاهَا. I've guided you to fujur and to corruption in the earth, and I've guided you to what? Taqwa. Two-way street. Two-way street. I've guided you to what is horrible, and I've guided you to what is the best. Taqwa. Excuse me, I didn't translate that for the viewers. Taqwa is to have in short, it's God consciousness. In short, it is God consciousness. It is not God consciousness in today's context. When it was defined by the divine leaders of this generation, the Prophet Muhammad and his disciples, one of the particular leaders said, "Taqwa is like when you have thorns spread out on the ground." And you got to lift up your jalabiyah or your pants, the hem of your pants, and be careful when you're walking not to touch any of those thorns. So if y'all don't get it, the pathway, the sidewalk, the street, that's life. Those thorns are the obstacles that are thrown to you. You're either going to run over them and it's going to harm you, or you're going to be careful and move in a manner to where you navigate yourself around these trials and tribulations, and that way you stay cool, you straight. That's what God consciousness is. That's what the word taqwa means. So when you on your path, you on your spiritual path, you're gonna be throwing all these hurdles, and you have to navigate through these hurdles as opposed to running to them. If you run into them, they're gonna stick you, they're gonna dog you. So that's all. So Allah gave everybody, every nations, every people that ultimatum. You gonna do the right thing or you gonna do the wrong thing. When it was the white man's turn, and it still is, we're still in the turn of the white man. He's chosen to do the wrong thing. He started out with us. They experimented on us, and then he took his conquest on the world as a whole. What they're doing in Philistine is wrong, and it's demonic. What they've done and what they're doing with the what do you call that? The clandestine wars in Africa. They toppled the only brother who was talking about black independence on a national scale, Muammar Gaddafi, rahimahumullah. May Allah Ta'ala forget all of his shortcomings and enlighten and enlarge all of his all of the great things that he has done. Out of all of the nations, African nations, it was the brown brother of the African nations sending money to the black nationalists in America, helping his brothers. Muammar Gaddafi said, "Forget the U.S. dollar, forget petrol, We're gonna make the African dollar. Forget the EU, forget the European Union." And wallahi ta'ala, he was at the EU saying this. He was at the end. Then what did our demonic forces do? Oh, he's a quack. He's crazy. He is a murderer. He does this to his people. No, you did that to his people. You bankrupt his people. He didn't bankrupt his people. You did. He said, forget the EU, forget the European Union. We're gonna have the what? The AU, the African Union. the African Union. He said, forget the dollar, forget the euro, forget the pound, forget the yen. We're gonna use the dinar, the African dinar. And we're going to use gold to back it. We're going to use things that can actually be measured to back it. That way government can't have all the control. That's another conversation for another day. But like you said, he gave all of the great leaders in history the ultimatum to do right or wrong. And now that he has given the white nation the ultimatum to do right or wrong, they have obviously chosen to do the wrong thing. Those things that I listed are it's just some evidence. And just to cap that off, that GI Bill, that I chose the GI Bill as the last of those examples, because there's no greater thing that you can do other than go and lay your life on the line for something that you love and believe. Our black brothers and sisters did that, and when they got back, our faces got spat in. And then on top of that, this is the dangerous thing about what I was going back. This is the dangerous thing about trusting your historical oppressor. The GI Bill, so by the time the GI Bill came, right, we were citizens and we were free. So it was federally illegal to enslave us. You can't enslave an American citizen, nor can you discriminate based upon sex, race, and religion. So what they do, the old Peyton Manning 52 fake out, deep ball play action downfield. It was I forget the fool name. I can pull his name up if I need to. I don't think I need his name. One of the historical oppressors, the fool come out of Mississippi. He was a staunch advocate for white supremacy, like open with it. He was so they had the vote. He was put in charge to make so they voted on it was a tiebreaker vote on whether we should be able to use the GI Bill or not. So that's evil within itself. And this fool was the tiebreaker.
Vote when I
vote on my freedom, vote on my rights. So this fool was the tiebreaker, right? So he voted. After he campaigned, he went down south and went to all the Jim Crow states where he knew he had allies, and he campaigned and said, "Hey, listen, we got to let this thing go through, or ain't nobody gonna get nothing." So all his constituents down south in the Jim Crow states said, "We got your back." So he went, gave the yay. They got the GI Bill passed, and it was for everybody, right? It's the problem with trusting your historical oppressor. Once it got passed, he made sure that a stipulation inside of the GI Bill was that the federal government could not administer these funds and this stimulus package for our vets. It had to be administered on locally based levels. So when the GI Bill stimulus went out, it was received by his comrades in the Confederacy. He ain't got to tell them what to do with it. So they legally discriminated against the black people in his state in Mississippi. If y'all need his name, I get his name. If anybody knows his name, put his name in the comments. I got it on my computer pulled up, but we running short on time, so I ain't got time to do it. If y'all got that oppressor's name, that devil, he's a devil. He gone, he's dead gone now. He didn't do nothing to go back on what he did. He died as a devil. So if y'all got that devil's name, y'all can put it in the chat. I'll put it up. Y'all need me to put it up. I'll post the entire link. And this is from the History Channel. I got this from. It wasn't from some crazy unofficial black site. This is from the History Channel, from our white brothers and sisters that I learned this. Once the funds were given to in his state, they said 3,200 loans, cash loans to like buy a house went to white people. Guess how many? 3,200 went out. Guess how many of them went to black people?
10.
2. Had a 3200. He led by example. So
Come
this is
out of
the
her,
problem. This is the
come
problem.
out of
Listen,
her, come out
they
of her, come out of her, my people. Come out.
guess what the GI Bill consisted of? The GI Bill consisted of a stimulus package, a stimulus unemployment for an entire year. So they got a paycheck based on their pay when they were in the service for an entire year. Black people, black brothers and sisters didn't get none of it. It was free education to anywhere you choose, just as from the state that you served. Black people didn't get any of it. And the biggest boomer was the housing. They gave out zero government-backed 0% loans, interest rates on loans to the veterans. Black people didn't get. Well, they didn't get much of it. They got some. I think it was like 2% or something like that, like 2%. So the government sponsored those advances. They sponsored those advances. So they racially discriminated against us, and we are, like you said at the beginning, we are trusting them to change the paint of the White House. They're not even making it a brown house. Put a little bit of black in the White House and make it the brown house. They're not even doing that. Well, black and white is gray. Let me establish that, because it's gonna be some internet scholar be on here, brother. Technically, so can it be the gray house where black and white is together? Can we call it the gray house? The gray house? No.
You call it whatever color you want. It ain't gonna change your hill of beans. You're being fooled, like Malcolm said. You've been hoodwinked,
bamboozled, took for food.
It's like Allah keeps showing you time at the time that he cannot be trusted. It's like what's that old saying by Prophet Muhammad, may Allah's peace and blessings be upon him. He said that a Muslim is not bitten in the same hole twice. It's like, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me the second time, shame on me. This man has fooled us so many times, and it's time to get away from him. But you have to see him as the historical oppressor.
What he is.
If you see him as your friend, if you see him as your confidant, we're not going nowhere. You have to see him historically for what he is. And until we as a people understand that, we're not going to go nowhere, especially when you go into your church and bow down to a Caucasian God. I mean, you still bow down to him in your places of worship. And that's one of the biggest tricks he used to ensure that we will stay subjugated to him for the rest of our lives, is to put in our minds the concept that white means right and black means stay back, and that God has some sort of that we worship someone that resembles him. He's the oppressor, and not supposed to bow down to a God that looks like him. That's psychological, brother.
That's low. That's low on another level.
That's
low.
Because he knew our ancestors had a very spiritual way about us, and we had a connection to the Most High God. So he used that love of the Most High God and put that in our minds, that this man, this Caucasian man, is God. Bow down to him, worship him. If you don't, I'm going to kill you
and enslave your women and children.
Kill you.
Yeah, I'm gonna kill that man, and your wife is going to be the B word.
Yes.
The B word, and she's going to mate, and your children are going to work in the house until we get tired, until they get too big to be in the house, and then they go on in the field with the rest. That was our fate. That was our fate. But let's get to some of these comments, inshallah.
Okay. All right.
Before we get up out of here.
Out. Go ahead. What's
first First comment I want to. My brother been trying to get on here, man. It's my good. It's my. Okay, I hate this. I hate that I have to say that, but this is my guy, and we on that level. You know what I mean? So this is my good white friend.
What do you say?
Everybody has one. He been trying to get in the mix. Me and him have these kind of. His name is Mark Betcher. Me and him have these kind of conversations all the time. Great dude.
What do you say?
Absolutely, positively not racist. I have to say that. And this was so crazy. This was crazy. Like, he from where they racist at. Like, real talk. But okay, yeah, we're gonna jump in it. I wanted to put his up first because he's been trying to get in the mix. And so he was responding. He was responding to the analogy of basically this is their house, and would they should they share it with us? Would they logically share it with us? So he commented during that segment. And he said, so dollar for dollar, will either of you split every penny you make on a business you built up from the ground up with the people you employed, or did you start that business to do better yourself? So that's a quick, concise answer to that. No. But the problem is, this is the issue. A business and slavery is not the same thing. We use the business analogy to show the likeness of our condition here. So with the business, and about that, I'm going to pay a living wage. Right now, they're still administering slavery through the workforce, where they're not paying living wages right now. So, so slavery and employment was not the same thing. That's the answer to that question. No, nobody would logically take what they've taken all the risk and taken all the money and put everything into it. And I need you to work for my company. No, I would not share everything that I did. But had America been a business structure and they cut us a deal and say, hey, black people, would y'all mind working in this cotton field and we pay y'all X amount of dollars, we would have the option to say, no, that ain't enough money. Y'all need to pay us this if we're going to do that. That's a business. They, what they did. We know what they did. So slavery and a business is not the same thing. Go ahead and respond to
that. I agree with you. In the business model, you have a product, you have a factory, and people can come, and the owner and the worker have an agreement on the conditions by which I work in your factory. You set a wage, I can accept or reject that wage. You have the conditions in your factory. Either I can accept or reject those conditions. I have the right to choose or refuse. That's when it comes to a business model. But that wasn't the case with this Caucasian. He didn't come over to the mother continent and ask us, could you please come over and help us build America? He didn't even ask us. He didn't even offer us money to come build America. He said, get down in the bottom of that boat. If you don't, I'm going to kill you, your women, your children. I'm going to kidnap you. I'll force you to come work for me. You don't have a say so. So it's two different things. They didn't ask us they didn't offer us money to come here. They forced us to come here. And even our own people betrayed us and sold us into slavery for literally hundreds of years. This is why I support reparations on the mother continent as well. Because the people in Senegal, Gambia, Nigeria, Benin,
Liberia,
they off the slave trade for hundreds of years. So when we talk about reparations, we're not talking about this Caucasian in America. We're talking about anybody who benefited from the transatlantic slave trade. That includes Native Americans. That includes Black people who benefited. That includes Asians here.
The Spanish and the French.
The Spanish, the French, the Portuguese, the Dutch, all of them. Because the transatlantic slave trade was an economic system which a lot of people benefited from it and benefited. And there were some Black people in America who owned slaves too. So if we can find out who they are, If they benefited, if they had a business or a property or whatever it is, then they should be held liable too. That we are equal
Absolutely.
opportunity.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
don't come at me with color. It ain't just about color, but we
Yeah,
know that
right
the
or
white
wrong.
man is the general. He's the general. So we have to give him the majority of the responsibility
Responsibility.
because those slave ships came over here under the U.S. flag. They were brought in under the U.S. government auspices. They
Yeah.
deserve the vast majority of the responsibility. Now,
And the United States kicked all the other nations' butts and run them out. They the snakes of all snakes. They backdoored the backdoor. You remember the Spanish had their portion of the United, what is now the United States. The French had their portion of what is now the United States. The United States said, you know what? They the gangster of all gangsters. They said, can't none of y'all have none of this. And so they are most definitely responsible. And to close that out, that part of the question and comment segment, since this is something that the entire world recognizes as wrong, they have to repair. Most people hear the word reparations. That is a general word for the actual root word to repair. So the best analogy that I can make other people understand what that is like your car insurance. If you hit somebody's car, you are legally responsible to make sure, and you are at fault, that you have to fix that car. You have to repair that car. You have to pay those entities reparations. And the United States of America is solely responsible with their conspirators. They are solely responsible for the reparations, for them to repair the damage that they've done to our people. So yes, they have to split that money with us. It is and we ain't asking to be the president of the United States or to be the president or be the new power structure. We ain't asking that. We just say, hey, pay us what you owe us. They say they ran up about $50 trillion. $50 trillion from the inception of slavery to 1967. From the inception of slavery to 1967, when we so-called actually got our civil rights. In that entire time frame, the experts on that matter have guesstimated, not guesstimated, have estimated that the United States of America has monetized estimated $50 trillion. 50 trillion. And the scholars also say that the amount that's owed is $15 trillion. So we just want what we are owed. We ain't asking for no handouts. We ain't asking nobody to do nothing for us. We ain't asking nobody to feel sorry for us or nothing. You have been taken to trial and you have been convicted. You owe that.
You know what? Let me say this, and then I have to sign off. And I thank everybody for watching, and I thank you, Abdul Kabir Muhammad, for being here with me.
Before I forget, the slave owner's name was in Mississippi. I looked it up. Somebody inquired. His name was John Rankin. John Rankin. Okay. That was his name in Mississippi. He was a congressman.
Okay, I'm not surprised. Listen, if I go into a store, if I go into a supermarket, and I pick up a glass of spaghetti sauce, I pick it up, I handle it, I start juggling with it, and I drop it on the ground, and the glass shatters into a million piece spaghetti sauce everywhere. What is the manager or the owner of the store going to say to me? You broke it.
You bought it.
You bought it. You broke it. You bought it. Meaning what? Meaning you handled the glass. You picked it up of your own accord. And you, through your carelessness, you drop it and it shattered to a million pieces. You broke it. You bought it. You take responsibility for that. Well, what about a people who have been a broken people that you handled? We didn't ask to come here. We weren't trying to come here. You handled an entire people for literally hundreds upon hundreds of years and got wealthy as a result of your forcing us against our will to work to build up your wealth. You changed our names. You raped our men, women, and children. You forced us to hate ourselves. You assassinated every single leader that came to help us. You promised us help if we fought in your wars, and you lied to us every single time. So you broke an entire people. You are responsible for what you have caused. So when we talk about reparations, yes, I know the present day whites never owned slaves. I know that. But you benefit from a system that used us literally for hundreds of years, and you are benefiting from the wealth that was generated. And if you are really sincere, you have to prove it, white people. You have to prove it. What does justice look like? We want land and territory that we can call our own. We want to be exempt from all taxation. We want free medical care for our people. We want to be exempt from all military service. So right now you have a justice debt with us. You broke you broke millions of glasses in the store.
Man, they burnt that sucker down. They burnt the whole store down, man.
and not once did they admit they're wrong. So therefore, since you have consistently broken millions of glasses in the store and refuse to take responsibility, then you are found guilty of wanting destruction of property. So now you have to be arrested and go for the judge. And the judge will issue an order for you to be arrested, and the judge will give the judgment. Is that right? Right or wrong?
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, Almighty God has issued a judgment against you. You have done so much wicked, like the brother said earlier. You had a chance, white people, to do good or to do evil. You chose the evil path. So just like Allah set down Pharaoh during the time of Moses, Allah set down Nimrod during the time of Ibrahim. Every single prophet Allah sent a enemy on opposer with their prophet.
And don't forget the brown people. Don't forget the brown people with Hisros.
There you go.
The brown people with Hisros. So nobody's excluded. This is just the way of the world.
So Satan uses whoever he wills, whoever is in the position of a power, authority, and influence. Satan will flip you first. If Satan can flip the leaders, then the people under the leaders will follow the way.
Follow. What does our beautiful tradition say? The dean of the leader is the dean of the people.
There you go. So if the leader is corrupt, then the nation will be corrupt because you followed the lead of the leader.
And look what happened. Look what just happened Tuesday.
Allah has allowed this Caucasian to assume the leadership role. And so this is a test for him. But he chose the wicked path. So now you are under judgment. The coronavirus, the wildfires, the extreme weather. See, you did evil to our people for literally hundreds upon hundreds of years. So therefore, the judgment will be a slow for another hundreds of years. The bringing down of America is not going to happen overnight. It's a slow trickling destruction on you, white people, and to this country. The fall of the U.S. dollar, the instability in America,
and the economy
going on, that we have no control over white people. That's not our fight. We're not with you on that. We're not helping in no civil war. We should not be up there in the Capitol, busting into the Capitol building. That's on you. We got no dog in that fight. That's all on you. We sitting back and we watching you fight each other because this is part of the judgment. Your house is weak. It was built on the backs of our people and the Aboriginal people, the Mexican people, the Hawaiian people. You built your house on that. And because you refuse to accept responsibility, your foundation of your house is weak. So just like any foundation, if it's not built on solid foundation, it starts to sink down into the sand. Your house is sinking, white people.
And
And
they
you
know it. And
see
they
it.
know it.
But
This is what the whole MAGA movement is
it's
about.
all about.
Just thinking about that. Make America great again.
Again.
So that's recognition that
Of
they
it.
know that they are weak.
Exactly.
Those terrorists that stormed the White House and tried to
Exactly.
call themselves patriots, they
Exactly.
did that out of that was an extreme temper tantrum. They,
Exactly.
they holding on to power with their nails, with their
Exactly.
fingernails, and it's Allah that is the one that's pulling it out of their hands, and they
Exactly.
holding on to it,
The
and it's been
judgment is
ripped from them. And you know
the
what makes
judgment
them
is on.
really mad? They know that Joe Biden is a sucker. They know he can't protect white supremacy.
And
They
that's
know he
why
can't protect white supremacy.
and
They
that and
know it.
that's why as black people, if you are drinking a Joe Biden, Kamala Harris Kool-Aid, then you get what you get. I repeat, if you drink the Joe Biden Kool-Aid, you get what you get. It's so sad that you will fight so hard for Joe Biden, and at the end of the day, our people would not progress as a whole. We ain't going nowhere. Abdul Kabir, it's time to sign off, brother. May
Most
Allah
definitely.
bless you. May
I
Allah bless
mean,
you. Thank you so much, brothers and sisters. Again,
hey, thank you
we
for
are one
thank you
in
for
the
being
nation.
on the show, Ak. Thank you. Like your perspective means a lot. And as soon as I connected with you, I said, man, we got to project your voice and your ideas out here.
Inshallah.
We got to level the playing field, man. So,
Inshallah.
Jazakumullahu khaira
That's
for
wonderful.
signing in with us. Thank you for staying consistent. Please stay consistent. I know
Inshallah.
it's hard, but keep pushing, man. Keep pushing. We
Thank you,
need you.
brother.
I
May
need you. We
Allah
need
bless
you. Keep pushing.
May Allah bless you, brothers and sisters. Thank you for watching today's show. If anybody would like to contact me, you can contact me personally, bilal.stroud@gmail.com. That's bilal.stroud@gmail.com. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram. Everything you see me, hear me say tonight, I've said consistently on my page. It's the same thing. Nothing has changed. May Allah Ta'ala make things easy. Abdul Kabir, how can people contact you if they want to contact you?
Inshallah, I would just, man, as long as it's regarding these topics, y'all could just hit the BOC movement fan page, or we got an actual personal page too, Black and Holding Control at Facebook, and we're on all streaming platforms. We're on Twitter, we're on Instagram, Black Owner Control, and we also on YouTube. This is also streamed on YouTube, so y'all can share this. And let me remind y'all, if y'all like these topics, if y'all like a black grassroots perspective, we have to play the game the way that the game is to be played. You have to like, share, and subscribe. I ain't getting no money from it. He ain't getting no money from it. What we're going to get is support for the truth and unity. This is the reason why we're doing this podcast. I invested my own time and money for these things. He invested his own time and money. Salim Abdul Mutakalim invested his own time and money. We not trying to monetize. We are all individual business entrepreneurs. We ain't making no money off of this. It's not even on our radar to make no money off of this. If we do, it's gonna go to Black owned and control. That we can assure you. We ain't that big yet, but just to make sure that this type of voice, these type of topics get out, you have to play with the computer algorithm. You have to like, you have to share, you have to subscribe, and comment. And every time we got these videos, because it's an algorithm. What the algorithm is everything that gets a lot of attention and a lot of interaction. The entities behind the social media say, "Oh, look, this is hot. Let's take this," and they put it in front of everybody. That's what they do. So if y'all like these conversations, and if y'all have anything to contribute to it, even if we got the right topic and the wrong dissertation, we at least got the right topic. You chime in and get it popping and let us know. Comment and say, hey, y'all wrong. But when you come in, hit us with the BOC. As soon as you chime in, type in BOC. Bok. Like, subscribe, like, share, so that we can get the truth out, so that our voice can be heard. That's what this is. This is our voice. And Black on, once again, Black Owned and Controlled is about Black independence. We're not juxtaposed to white people. We're not juxtaposed to brown people. We just like, hey, later we see y'all at the finish line. We need to focus on our own house.
There you go.
These resources we got propping up this group and propping up that group and living in this country and living in this state. We're done with it. We focused on ourselves. It's about Black independence. And if that bothers you, you are racist. We sign it out.
Let me say this. I'm gonna go. Remember that scene in the Black Panther movie? He said, "White people to white power to white people, red power to red people,
and Black power
to yellow people,
Black power to Black people."
Look, whoever you are,
that's equality.
Do for yourself. Help yourself. I got no problem none whatsoever. We folks on the us. On that note, I gotta go. May Allah bless you, brother.
I mean,
soldier, stay strong, soldier.
I mean, Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah.
Baby.
We out of here.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah.